Once when I was a lonely teenager, I was out walking by myself and wandered into an unfamiliar area. The land was badly eroded, and as I looked up a small ravine, I saw a little cottage that appeared to be deserted. I noticed a weathered piece of paper stuck to the door and became curious as to what it said. In large, shaking letters were the following words: "If you find my baby inside, please bury him." Startled, I took the note off the door and continued to read.
Something has my baby in that house, and I can't get him back. I don't know what it is, except there is some kind of light surrounding him. And every time I try to reach into the light and grab my baby, it burns my hand. But it don't seem to be hurting him none. And there's some kind of voice that keeps coming out of the light, and it is telling me, find the ring, find the ring. God knows, I have looked all over for the ring. I tore up the furniture, I pulled up the floorboards, I even ripped down the wallpaper. I can't find no ring anymore. I ain't ate or slept for 3 days. And I don't know what to do except try to find help. But I am so weak. I'm afraid I won't make it back to my poor baby. Please, God, please help us, bless us, God. Somehow I think we'll end up in hell. I got the feeling that somehow it's my baby's fault. But I can't see where he's done anything to deserve this.
Lost in a light, lost in a light, lost in a lack of touching forever. Except for a small area around a baby bassinet in the center of the room, the interior of the shack was total chaos. After working my way through the jumble of broken furniture, loose floorboards, and other rubble, I finally reached the side of the oddly spotless and pristine bassinet, covered by a clean white blanket. Filled with apprehension, I removed the cover, revealing the perfectly formed skeleton of a baby, clutching a wedding ring in its right hand. Lost in a light, 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 lost in a light. After scratching a shallow hole in the dry dirt of the ravine, I was about to dump the pitiful basket of bones into it when I noticed some words engraved on the ring. Deeply disturbed but compelled to continue, I brought the ring closer to my eyes and made out the words. A mother's love erases rages. A mother's rage erases. But the rest was scratched out. Overwhelmed by feelings of fear, disgust, and confusion, I threw the ring and the baby skeleton into the hole. I quickly covered them with dirt and ran home. No one has ever believed my story. I've tried to convince myself that it must have been a dream, induced by the instability of adolescence. I take comfort from that thought.
It's only been 2 weeks since Howard died, so I guess I should be destroyed, a miserable wretch, shattered and scattered like the shards of a discarded whiskey bottle hitting the pavement. But I'm not. I'm not, you see, because nothing could be worse than watching him die. Nothing could be worse than watching a life you loved slowly sucked away like a spider draining the brain of a fly. But then, he came back. Maybe it was only a dream, but he's been in every dream I've had since he died. And so what, I say? Who needs reality filled with grief when love lives in your dreams? In the past, dreams faded quickly, but since Howard died, they're like permanent movies living inside my mind. Every second of every dream is alive. It's mine whenever I want it. The first night was like a lamp lit in the blindness of a black and empty room. The flame of the lamp grew brighter and brighter until the room disappeared, replaced by his face, shining like the center of the sun. Arms emerged from each cheek, opening wide in an obvious invitation to the space between his large and blood-red lips. I freely fell into the opening and, once inside, easily embraced his heart. It was stuck to the top of his torso, where the nape of his neck might have been, and then it linked me with love and with laughter and made my mind twinkle and grin. The dream flowed on in its own loose and liquid way, filling my mind with a warmly glowing wetness that always equaled the essence of Howard. Then I woke up, and the world of the waking wasn't nearly as nice. It was black. Blacker than hatred, and blacker than spite, and blacker than the eyes of a shark just before he rips your arm off. Howard's parents were arriving at noon, and I had no choice except reliving his decline and death with them. His mother never liked me, and somehow I knew she would make me feel even more responsible than I already did. Pathetic and brutal. The visit with Howard's parents was even more miserable than I anticipated. With memories of the previous night's encounter still pleasantly lingering in my mind, I went to bed as soon as they left, even though it was only 4 in the afternoon. The sense of satisfaction was almost immediate. Howard was hugging me from the moment my head sunk into the softness of my succulent, cloud-like pillow. And instead of assorted parts, he was a whole person this time. A whole person who was also a whole, pulling me in like a lover who hasn't tasted sweet release in a long, long time. My body became rigid and erect like a diver slipping into the sea, and I felt myself enter his soul. In and out I went, tasting the delicious tang of tension and release, until we both exploded like overripe raisins in the sun. I laid in his arms for a few sweet forevers, until the sound of shouting opened my empty ears. taking me for Howard's funeral. I had slept for 18 hours. The heaviness of grief saturating the service was more than I could bear. But I had to bear it. It didn't matter how many times I broke down or how many condolences left the lips of family and friends. It never got any better. But somehow it managed to get worse. Just as the service was ending, I tripped at the edge of the dirt pile waiting to fill Howard's hole. And as I tripped, I bumped into Howard's mother, causing both of us to fall into the open grave, giving the grieving woman a perfect release for the venom and rage consuming her soul. As my friends and family looked on, my dead husband's mother hit me 14 times with her purse before I fainted into the waiting arms of my beloved. On like that for the next 2 weeks as I slept a little longer and dreamed a little more each day. I made it 23 and a half hours yesterday, and now, with Howard's support, I think I'm ready. The doctors say it's medically impossible for a healthy person to sleep 24 hours a day, but Howard and I don't think so. And that's all that really matters.
Say you can only see ghosts through the corner of your eye. But it's not true. I've seen the ghost of my wife right in front of me. The first time, it was not too long after I killed her. You see, Maggie told me that I walked in my sleep, but I didn't believe her. She left a pick. Pick. Don't leave your dirty clothes on the floor. Your bald spot is getting bigger. Those pants make you look fat. And after a while, you just get used to it and you just wouldn't hear it anymore. You know, and then she'd come up with something worse, and I figured that's what it was with the sleepwalking thing. Until she put flour on the floor. See, flour on the floor was the ultimate test. If we woke up the next morning and there were footprints in the flour and my feet were white, then it was absolute proof. So we did. And they were white. That is, I hated it. He was so fucking arrogant. So I refused to believe it. And I accused her of faking the whole thing, and I made up my own test. I made Maggie sleep on the couch, and I slept in the bedroom by myself. Then I locked the doors, and I sprinkled flour on the floor. And if I woke up the next morning and there were footprints in the flour and my feet were white, then it was undeniable. Sleepwalking was the only explanation. The next day I woke up early feeling oddly refreshed. Excited until I saw the footprints, and with my undeniable white feet. Dejected, I unlocked the bedroom door and followed the footprints into the kitchen. And there was Maggie, lying there with a butcher knife in her chest. So, I got a smart lawyer and he got me off. I guess I got away with murder, or at least that's what everyone said. But the thing is, I don't remember any of it. Yeah, I guess I did, and I feel really bad about what had happened, but it wasn't like I planned it all out or anything. But then Maggie's ghost started showing up. The first time, I had to get up and take a piss, and there was this thing in the hall, and it just was staring at me with this kind of slightly evil, slightly self-righteous grin. She was just like you always see in the movies, kind of whitish and slightly transparent. And then she disappeared. I figured it was some sort of dream or something, and I forgot about it. Later, I woke up again, and there was little Becky standing at the foot of my bed sleepwalking, with her eyes wide open. It was spooky as hell. I picked her up and put her back in her room, but then it happened again. This time I could hear her talking to Maggie. They were in the kitchen talking about knives. Maggie was telling Becky how to hold a knife and which ones were the sharpest and exactly where to cut and stab the eyes, the arteries, and vital organs. I ran into the room and of course, the ghost disappeared, leaving little Becky standing there, and I locked her in her room. When I asked her about it the next day, she couldn't remember a thing.
Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Come to young girls everywhere.
If you're a city slicker like Ann Foster, you come from Waterloo, Iowa. You learned fast and wanted to read your newspaper in half, to order Danish, not sweet rolls, to almost like cardboard coffee. But this you do hold on to. Every woman needs to be herself at times. Your answer? Baking. Baking good, baking often with gold medal flour. Little kitchen, true. Strange oven, also.
And now I guess it's just a matter of time. A few of my sharpest knives are missing. I've searched the whole house, but I can't find them anywhere. Every night, when I go to sleep, I lock the bedroom door. But it's just a matter of time until I sleepwalk again. And she'll be out there, waiting for me.
Never heard of anyone being haunted by a snake? Probably not. Me neither. Except when it happened to me. It wasn't just any snake. It was Leonard. Leonard was not that boa constrictor. I named him after that singer, Leonard Cohen. You know, he had that song about the guy who was standing in front of the mirror with a razor blade and shaving cream on his face. It went kind of like this.
That's right, it's come to this. Yes, it's come to this. And wasn't it a long way down? Wasn't it a strange way down? Down.
Well, I used to sing that song whenever I would feed Leonard. I don't know why. It just kind of made sense to me. I always fed hamsters to Leonard until he got too big for him. And then I started feeding him rabbits. And let me tell you, feeding a rabbit to Leonard, it was really something else. That rabbit would just be shaking. That rabbit would be shaking. Like a one-legged horse in a hurricane. And old Leonard, he would just take his time, slowly edging up to that rabbit, pretending like nothing was happening, but the rabbit knew. The rabbit knew, and then all of a sudden, wham! Leonard would just wrap his coils all around that rabbit. Pretty soon, the rabbit just disappeared inside of Leonard's muscular body. Then he would open his jaw wider and wider until he kind of dislocated it. And he'd just get that rabbit in one big gulp. Wasn't that kind of big gulp like you get at 7-Eleven or anything. It was more like the kind of big gulp that Linda Lovelace did on that guy's penis and deep throat. Except penis came back out.
That's right, it's come to this. Yes, it's come to this. And wasn't it a long way down?
At least, the rabbits never came back until Ralph. I never named the rabbits because I didn't want to get attached to them, but when I got this one, it was almost like all of a sudden I could hear this voice in my brain. It said, "Hi, I'm Ralph." Real clear like it was weird. But anyway, Ralph was kind of beefy, so I knew that Leonard's lunch was going to be a real challenge that day. Sure enough, just as soon as I put Ralph in Leonard's box, he just pounced. I mean, he was just all over that snake. But, Leonard was kind of shook up, but he recovered, and soon he had a couple of coils around Ralph, and it was looking like the regular thing. But then, Ralph, I don't know if he had rabies or what, but I could tell Leonard was shook up by this growling rabbit. This was not the way it was supposed to be. What with him being a 12-foot boa constrictor and all, but soon, he started dislocating the jaws, wrapping them around Ralph's head. But I guess he was so anxious he didn't kill the rabbit first. As soon as he closed his jaws around Ralph's body, all of a sudden he started jerking and twitching, and the next thing you know, all of a sudden here was Ralph's head coming out through Leonard's stomach, just snarling and growling, and that was the end of Leonard. Well, at least that was the end of Leonard until he came back as a ghost. The weird thing is, he keeps getting bigger and bigger. He must be 30 or 40 feet long now. He keeps coiling around and around me all the time while I'm eating breakfast, watching TV. I don't think he can hurt me. Him being a ghost snake and all, but he blames me. He blames me, and he blames me for Ralph. Now, I'm getting kind of nervous about it. I ate 14 hot dogs yesterday.
I never thought I'd be talking to you, but I guess you saw the article about Florence and me in the newspaper. Yes, well, I guess you'd have to say that Florence and I were lesbians, although it just seemed to me like we were really, really close friends. What? Well, that's kind of personal, but yeah. Kind of fooled around in the beginning, but after a while, Florence was so big it wasn't really possible. I mean, how are you gonna do it if you can't find the parts? After a while, I just kind of got tired of looking. But it really didn't seem to matter. It just kind of became something we didn't have to worry about. But it seemed like the further we got physically, the closer we got spiritually. And the closer we became, the more I wanted to make her happy. Of course, that meant eating. Florence inherited some money from a rich aunt, so we didn't have to work. I didn't have to do anything except feed Florence. And well, that's really all I wanted to do. It just gave us so much satisfaction to feed her gallons of ice cream and hot, buttery popcorn and several chickens in one sitting. Of course, it wasn't long before she couldn't sit. She couldn't do anything except lay there as I piled on pies and cakes and french fries and dozens of hamburgers onto her one giant tray table.
The family gathers, new babies here, and great-grandmother knows it's clear that it wouldn't be home without Helen.
At times like this, family traditions are important, like Hellman's Real Mayonnaise. It's the best, the one you depend on to make all their favorite foods taste terrific.
Everything was great, Grandma.
Each meal took about 2 to 3 hours. Then Florence snacked on Slim Jims and Cocoa Pops when we planned the next meal. Those were definitely the happiest years of my life. But then, Dr. Phil, I noticed that Florence was starting to sag. She just kind of spilled off the side of her bed, and then a couple months later that I realized this big puddle of Florence's flesh had oozed out onto the floor, kind of like a big mushy carpet or something. And Florence was starting to have problems breathing. And as she continued to grow, she made this horrible wheezing sound. I said we should call a doctor, but Florence just laughed that huge, hearty hee-haw.
Hold me, warm me, won't you comfort me? Hug me, it makes me feel so good.
Life is full of good reasons to give someone a warm hug.
A warm hug from Campbell.
I guess I could see it coming. How could I not? Florence weighed 1,875 pounds when she died. A few months before she passed, my friend's huge pool of flesh covered the entire room, wall to wall, 3 feet deep. Poking out from one corner of the puddle were Florence's head and hands. Everything else had long since disappeared into the huge mound of flesh known as Florence. Of course, after she died, there was no way to get her out of the room. And I simply would not allow them to cut Florence up into 15 or 20 portable chunks like the mortician suggested. I mean, I couldn't bear to just see my best friend reduced to slabs of meat and hauled out into a refrigerated truck. So we removed the wall to Florence's room instead. And it wasn't easy, as I'm sure you can imagine, Dr. Phil. I had to hire a crane with a gigantic forklift attachment, and even then a couple pieces ripped off and fell into the street. And that was it.
My best friend was gone, taking my reason for living with her. Until she came back. It was only 2 days later, 2 days that seemed like an eternity. I went shopping and when I came home, there she was. But now Florence is a ghost, and she's better and funnier than ever. Not being stuck in a bed anymore, she just floats around the apartment like a big jolly jellyfish, and being a ghost, she can't eat anymore. So I do it for her. It gives Florence so much pleasure to see me down a turkey and a couple of banana cream pies. I'm sure I'm not in her league yet by any means, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay, I'm coming. I'm sorry, Dr. Phil. The Domino's Pizza guy is here and Judge Judy's about to be on. I'm sorry, I have to go now.
Yes, sir. It's true. I have referred to the deceased as Milton, the Milty Man, on occasion. And yes, I also called him Charcoal Face. No, it was not meant to be disrespectful at all. It happened like this. You see, I hired Milton to be a yard boy and hand him in for me. And not too long after Hazel, my wife, ran away with that whop singer Flavio, who was down there at the bar on Travis Street. Shit, I don't know why she wanted to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Well, you see, I hadn't been feeling so good after Hazel went away, and I thought maybe it would be nice to have somebody else around, even if it was just Milton. Big mistake, too. Let me tell you, he didn't want to do any work at all. All he wanted to do was just sit around and drink and ask me questions. And he says things like, how long has it been since you've been gone? And did I know where Flavio went? And did I want to get a private investigator? And stuff like that. It just wasn't any of his goddamn business. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I'm sorry. Well, you see, the accident. Well, okay, here is what happened. You see, Milton was in the garage. He was refinishing the kitchen table. And, he had to be wearing this respirator and coveralls and all. It was real hot. And so, I was standing outside smoking a cigarette. And somehow there was this can of gasoline that was right next to the lawnmower. And somebody kicked it over. Now, it might have been Milton. It could have been Milton before he went in that garage. But anyway, I finished smoking my cigarette and all, and I threw it down, and it fell right in that gasoline. And kaboom! I mean, the whole garage just turned into a blazing inferno. And I could hear poor Milton in there just screaming like a scared puppy or something. And I ran over and I grabbed the garage door, and it was stuck. I pulled, but it was stuck tighter than a donkey dick in an ant's asshole. I didn't know what to do. I felt so bad. I felt so bad about poor Milton. I have remarked to people I have seen Milton several times since he became deceased. I know it sounds strange, but Milton has come back as some kind of a unearthly presence or ghost or something like that. The last time that I saw Milton, well, to tell you the truth, Milton is here in the courtroom right now. He's sitting on that table right over there. He's laughing at me. He laughs at me all the time. I don't know what to do. I can't go to the bathroom without Milton following me in there and laughing at me with his old black, craggy old face. He looks like some kind of cremated corn cob or something. He just sings all the time. It's horrible TV commercials. Stuff like Colorado Rookie, that's the name, and there goes trouble down the drain. Oh, it still tastes good like a cigarette, true, but the really horrible one. Nothing says loving like something from the oven. Nothing says loving like something from the oven. Laughs. You just laughs and laughs. Drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. I don't know what to do. He's already dead. I can't kill him again.
It happened again. I dreamed about him again last night, but the real problem is that he's not just in my dreams. No, now the scary part is I'm starting to think about him all the time. Sometimes I even think I see him. and sometimes I think I'm becoming him. Maybe you've heard about him. The Pudding Killer? He was pretty famous back in the 80s. A serial killer who stuffed his victims' mouths full of pudding roll-ups. Pudding roll-ups were this kid's snack food back in the 80s. They looked a little like chocolate tacos all rolled up in wax paper. And the Pudding Killer, he would tie up his victims and then roll them up in carpets. And he'd stuff their mouths full of pudding roll-ups. Of course, they eventually found 52 bodies and with their mouths full of pudding roll-ups until they finally caught him. Well, anyway, one night not too long ago I had this dream where all of a sudden I started hearing this guy sing. The song was kind of familiar, but at first I couldn't figure out what it was, and then bingo, it hit me. It was the commercial for pudding roll-ups. And I kept having this dream over and over, and the more I heard it, the more I recognized who was singing the song. And it was like bingo again. The singer was Hugh Enkelman, the pudding killer. Well, at this point, I was pretty upset, as you might imagine. Okay, so as if it wasn't bad enough, a couple of weeks later, I was looking in the mirror, and all of a sudden I started seeing Hugh's face right on top of mine. And then I started seeing it more and more. And whenever I saw myself in a store window or a rear view mirror or anywhere, there was Hugh's face, kind of weirdly blending into mine. And then all of a sudden I started getting this craving for pudding roll-ups. I completely forgot about them until Hugh started singing about them in my dreams. Well, of course you can't buy them anymore. So I found this recipe for taco shells, and I replaced chocolate for the cornmeal, and I mean, it took a little bit of experimentation, but they're not that bad. See? Here's one I made. Sensation all over every time I think about it. I can't wait, you know? I really don't think you was such a bad guy.
When I was very young, I had a twin sister that no one could see but me. We lived in a farm without any neighbors, so she was my constant companion. For some reason, she liked to play tricks on my mother. These tricks were often mean, and even though I didn't, I usually got the blame, I was unable to stop myself from helping her.
The unseen sister of Jets. The unseen sister protects. The unseen sister of Jets. The unseen sister protects.
Once, we were playing under the kitchen table where my mother was sitting shelling peas. I grabbed her leg and said I wanted to play horsey as my sister placed a loop of clothesline around her ankle. Mother said no, and then she got up from the table, walked 2 steps, and tripped as she reached the end of the rope. As my mother fell, she knocked a boiling pot off the stove. It fell on her head. Even though it was July, she was cooking pasta in the shape of little green Christmas trees because it was my favorite. Mother's face was no more than 6 inches from mine as she screamed, jerked away the pot, and revealed the red bubbling face covered with little green Christmas trees. Mother was dead when I woke up. Several years later, my father said that she had become tangled in the cord of a toaster and electrocuted herself as she stumbled around the room, screaming in pain. I had a goldfish that died one time.